there, I'm Fleur and welcome to the next part of the BricsCAD BIM advanced training. Today I'm gonna give you the first part of this training, which is the collaboration. We will use Bricsys 24/7 to collaborate. If you have an account, you can try it out. If you don't have it, just see this as a demonstration. We will then, of course, dive into the IFC format, which is the interchange format for BIM models. And we will see how to import and export IFC files. And finally, we will also cover how to use the BIM collaboration format, or for short BCF panel, into BricsCAD. You can try to import a file, but if you a BCF file, but if you have account to a BCF server, then you can of course also log into that server. So again, we will see some things of Bricsys 24/7, but if you don't have it, feel free to skip this section or read it as an example. For IFC import and export, more specifically, we will show you some tips and tricks, and we will also be guiding you into best practices. Then in the end, we will see BCF and how to manage issues around BIM projects. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and come take a look into BricsCAD with me. Okay, in the first part of this collaboration module, we will use the Bricsys 24/7 panel. We will download some files by using the panel inside BricsCAD. And first of all, you open a new drawing and you go to the Bricsys 24/7 tab. If the first time you open this panel, you will see two things. So the name of the server you want to connect to, which you can change with the change button, and a login button allowing to log into your own account. If you press it, you will be redirected to a web page in 24/7 where you can log in. And if you're logged in successfully, you will get a successfully logged in message. You can close your browser now, and now you will see all your projects in your Bricsys 24/7 panel, all the projects which you are part of. You can double click a project to enter it, and then search the folder you want to work in, double click it to enter the folder, and then you should see some files available for download. If you double click it, you will download and open this file, in this case, in the case of a DWG, but also in the case of other files. So if you double click a DWG, it will open immediately in BricsCAD. If you choose to download another file type, it will launch the associated file types program to display the respective file. So here I can double click it to open and download it. And then you should see an empty file, an empty starter file in this case. And then here you see that the file is open now. And you should see the change to up to date. To download an entire folder or to download the file without opening the file or folder, you can right click and choose the download button instead. So if I download this, it will just say downloading, but it won't open the associated program. You can also do this onto an entire folder. So if I go to the entire folder, you can press download on an entire folder. Of course, if you have already worked on local copies of the same items, it will overwrite this. So it just checks if you want to overwrite the local copies, which you might not have uploaded to 24/7 yet. So I can just say yes. And then everything inside this folder will be downloaded. In the right-click menu, you will also find a lock and unlock icon to make sure that it's unavailable for download by others in the project or back available if you unlock. The last option is to upload it. So if I would have made a change in the model, you would be able to upload this file once again into Bricsys 24/7, and the others in the project will be able to see the changes you made to a certain file. The downloaded files, which we have here, they are stored in our documents folder of our machine. And it's in a Bricsys 24/7 folder, and it will take over the structure from your online Bricsys 24/7 account. So here we can go into BIM research and we see the folder which we just downloaded with all the associated files. Lastly, if you want to upload something which wasn't there before yet, so you upload the revision by right-clicking and upload. If you want to upload something new, you click the blue plus button, you navigate to the file which you want to upload. And then you click on open, and it will allow you to upload with adding a status and a description of the file, and you can click the blue upload button to upload this file to that folder you were in. That concludes the Bricsys 24/7 introduction into BricsCAD itself. Of course, you have the Bricsys 24/7 cloud environment where you can do a lot more. Next, we will see how to start off a drawing with the correct IFC template, IFC4 or IFC2x3. You can always export to another IFC file format, and the properties of one will be copied to the other if as needed. But to really have all the properties available in the IFC2x3 schema, you need to load the IFC2x3 template. If you want to have all the properties available in the IFC4 schema available in BricsCAD as well, you need to load the IFC4 template. So by default, the IFC format that is used within BricsCAD is IFC2x3. However, we can always redefine the used IFC template to IFC4, and you do that upon the creation of a new drawing. So I will cover now the steps to do this, and note that it's very important to choose which IFC format you need before creating the BIM model. So as I did, I created a new drawing in BricsCAD to be able to access the settings command. Then under the BIM tab, or by searching, you can find the BIM default properties path, and then you can click the paths by opening the three dots, and there you see that the IFC2x3 XML schema is used. You can change this path of the IFC2x3 to IFC4 by clicking the three dots again. And then you need to navigate to the file path specified inside the training manual. So I will now do this. And there you will find the IFC4 XML file. You can open it and press OK. So now, as soon as you start a new drawing in the BIM workspace by launching the BIM millimeter template, for example, you will see that the IFC4 properties are used instead of the IFC2x3. And you can see the difference because here I have a file which was opened and saved while the IFC2x3 schema was selected. You will see that here we have the wall quantities between brackets IFC2x3. However, if I do the same into a new drawing and I save the file then you would see that now instead of IFC2x3 it will say wall base quantities, which indicates that it's the IFC4 schema. You can also see this because, for example, a new property is available, which is the stages. So now we have all the IFC4 properties listed in our BricsCAD properties panel. So now we will export the IFC and define some rules on what and how to export. So you can export with an export mapping file. To do that, browse to the starter files. You will see an export mapping.txt file. This is editable with a notepad editor. And if you do this, you will see that it contains some simple rules, such as mapping a certain BricsCAD BIM type to a certain IFC type. In this case, the BIM DB footing, which is a BricsCAD footing element, is mapped to an IFC column entity. Also, if no explicit mapping is mentioned in the file, then the file types will be implicitly mapped to their corresponding IFC type. For example, a BIM-DB footing would normally go to an IFC footing, a BIM-DB wall to an IFC wall, etc. And it will also have another line which says skip. Or two lines actually. This means that all the furnishing elements in our drawing and the flow terminals will not be exported. You can also map to the default type by writing the corresponding element type explicitly, or by writing default as export type. This is not really necessary, it will also be done anyways. And then we can open the drawing, which is in the starter files again. We open the main building. And then we open the settings dialog. We find the IFC properties. So under import and export IFC, you will find a lot of IFC properties, among which the export mapping file path. And here you need to select the export mapping txt file, which we had open just before. And then you can close the settings, and you can go in the Home tab of the BIM workspace to IFC export. Then you can press Enter to export the entire model. Choose a file name and save it either as 2x3, 4, or 4x1. Again, here we used the IFC 2x3 property schema. But you can still map it to another IFC type, but maybe some properties will not be available in one schema and will be available in the other schema, so you just can't fill them in if you don't select the correct IFC schema to start your drawing with. But exporting, you can still change the schema anyways. Then you can click Save, and now I can open, so the IFC export is busy. And then we can open the IFC file with an IFC viewer. Well, now the export is done, and I can go to my folder where I saved the IFC file. And I can open it, for example, in BIM Vision or Solibri. And then you will notice that now all the furnishing elements are indeed not exported because we skipped them. Also, the flow terminals won't be present, and the footings here, they will be exported as columns. So that is what export mapping does for you. Of course, we can also import files, IFC files, with a custom mapping if needed. So the same method of export mapping can be used for import mapping. The same rules apply and the same syntax is used. The only difference is the order of the types. Now, first the IFC type should be mentioned, and then it should be mapped to a BIMDB type. So instead of writing BIMDB wall, IFC wall, which is the export mapping, you should write IFC wall to BIMDB wall, which is the import mapping. So you can now create your own import mapping file and try to convert the IFC windows to BIMDB doors, for example, or try skipping some entities. Also a hint, the delimiter used between two words is a tab. And in the settings dialog, you can select again this new file which you would have created, and you can put it as import mapping file this time. So I leave this one as a challenge for you, and note that if you need more information about import or export mapping of IFC files, you can see our help page. Finally, for this chapter of collaboration, we will import a BIM collaboration format, BCF file in BricsCAD through the BCF panel. This will show us the issues in a certain BIM model and will allow us to communicate about how to resolve them. You could also connect to a BCF server for real-time collaboration on issues. But as you might not have access to such a server, we refer to the Bricsys Help Center for more specific information on this exact topic. But here we will just work with the BCF file. So we open a new drawing in the millimeter template. We make sure that the import mapping is empty so that no mapping file is used. And then we can go to the import. And we can import West Structural. Make sure that you read all the files, and you can find West Structural and open it. You can zoom extend to see all the geometry, or zoom out. And then we can open the BCF panel, BIM BCF. And then you can see that you can connect with a surface or open a BCF file. The services supported are listed on our help center and include BIM Collab, BIM Sync, or BIM Track. And here we will just cover importing a BCF file. So you can click on import a BCF file. You can choose the one which was delivered with the starter files. And you can open it. Now the issue that was listed in this BCF file should be seen in the BCF panel. You can click on this issue and then you will find more information. You can click on one of the images and then you will zoom to that certain location of the issue. You will also be able to see the different comments, and as such you can see where you need to do some work on your BIM model still. So that's a way to collaborate with your peers on a BIM model, and that also concludes this module. Okay, so this was the collaboration module. We saw how to import and export IFC files, how to work with the BCF panel, how to use 24/7, and make sure to check out the rest of the BIM training so that you can know all about the advanced tools in BricsCAD BIM.